Welcome to Olympian Water Testing, giving you the best in water analysis. Today we're looking at environment in New York, where mercury pollution in New York harms public health. And did you know in 2009, power plants in New York emitted more than 700 pounds of mercury pollution, which is a huge amount. And as we know, mercury gets mixed in with bacteria and can become methylmercury. That can affect aquatic life, that can affect humans, and that is overall terrible for the environment. According to New Environment, New York report, Dirty Energy's Assault on Our Health Mercury, New York is only one piece of the report's picture, which shows that nationally power plants emitted more than 130 pounds of mercury pollution in 2009. So that's a huge amount, and that's definitely dangerous for the environment and to humans. The report comes as the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is set to propose a standard limit to limit mercury and toxic air pollution from power plants. Powering our homes should not poison New York kids, said Caitlin Seeley, federal field organizer for the environment of New York. Mercury pollution from power plants puts our kids and our environment at risk, and we need the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, to force these facilities to clean up. Coal-fired power plants, which are the largest source of mercury pollution in the United States, emit mercury into our air. The mercury then falls into our waterways from rain or snow, where it builds up in fish, and then animals and people that consume the fish. Even very small amounts of mercury can have significant impacts, as studies suggest that a gram-sized drop of mercury can contaminate an entire 20-acre lake. People seldom consider the impact their energy use can have on people's health. Every time we flick a switch, more toxic mercury is put out into our air, water, and soil. So this is something actually to consider. Not to say don't use electricity or it's bad, but really to understand that sometimes clean energy isn't always clean, and that there are some byproducts that happen, especially that come in our water. Every product we buy uses energy to make, which also contributes to global mercury contamination, said Kathy Curtis, policy director of the Clean New York. Much has been done to reduce mercury in products, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to what's emitted by power plants. Strong federal standards of power plant pollution controls and transition to renewable energy are needed to protect our health from this toxic chemical. Some of the research found that mercury pollution is a widespread health risk. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates that 1 in 6 women of childbearing age has enough mercury in her bloodstream to put an unborn child at risk for health effects of mercury pollution, including learning disabilities, developmental disorders, and lower IQs, should she become pregnant. This means that more than 689,000 of 4.1 million babies born every year could be exposed to dangerous levels of mercury pollution. And it harms the environment. Fish and animals that consume fish suffer from reproductive failure and mortality as a result of mercury pollution, specifically methylmercury. More U.S. waters are closed to fishing because of mercury contamination than because of any other toxic contamination problem, and the EPA found that more than 50 New York waterways are contaminated by mercury pollution, contaminating fish that live in waterways and making it dangerous for humans to consume fish. And while the state and regional steps taken to reduce it from power plants, pollution from different neighboring states continues. New York, in 2008, it was estimated that 50% of mercury deposited in New York could be attributed to U.S. sources immediately upwind of the state. And earlier this year, New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman announced his plan to sue the Pennsylvania power plant Homer City Generation over its multiple violations of the Clean Air Act. So this is all quite disturbing stuff, especially with how much pollution is generated by power plants. The good thing is you can always periodically test your water to make sure that there's not high levels of mercury.